Welcome back to the Evolv Podcast. I'm Rhiannon.
And I'm your better host, Brendan.
All right, we'll leave it at that. But for now, pretty much what this podcast is all about is self-development, health and fitness, and our journey starting as brand new business owners.
Let's go. Make sure that you share this around because I'm telling you right now, this is the best podcast you've ever seen.
Enjoy, guys. Ciao.
Is that good for you?
Yeah, I can hear everything.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
perfect.
Even myself.
Bro, that's the weirdest part is when you start hearing your own voice and you're like, oh my God.
It takes
what
time
I
to get
sound
used
like?
to it.
It does a bit, but we'll get there.
It's all right. You're not a rookie to this stuff. You've done a podcast before.
I have, yeah. I'm definitely used to my own voice, unfortunately.
Yeah. And all the
Been on
content.
socials for some time now.
Yeah, I have, yeah. I used to, back in 2008, I'll never forget this. The girl I was dating at the time, she's like, you have to get Instagram. I was like, no, I don't want it. I didn't even want Facebook.
No need for it.
But I didn't see the
Back
point of
then,
it
yeah.
back then. And then they made my pages, and then I realized, okay, there's a lot of people posting training stuff on this. This could actually help me make some money.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason why I have them.
You use it as a tool now.
Literally, I hate even like if I can. When I get home, I have a rule, and my wife will laugh at this if she sees me say this. But the phone's got to go in my room because my brain's fried from scrolling all day.
Yes.
Yeah.
And because I'm on it literally all day.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah,
I'm
for work, obviously.
I'm
Yeah.
researching. I'm reading.
Your
Like,
brain would be cooked.
Yeah, bro. I don't sit behind my laptop anymore unless it's traditional emailing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm running my business from my phone because with our Apple products, everything's synced.
Yeah, it's all connected.
So I got
now.
my laptop on my phone. So
That's
I can
it.
be at a cafe doing work. I
Yeah.
can be at home, I'm doing work. I can
Yeah.
be at the gym, I'm doing work. It doesn't necessarily need to have an office, if
Yes.
that makes sense, you know?
That's
So-
the way it's gone now.
Yeah, it's good, but it's bad, I feel. Because
It's harder to disconnect from it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I made a rule at home. I don't work from home. I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does my head in. Because I wanted my brain to associate home with being at home.
Oh, I
and
like that.
switching off.
I like
Whereas
that.
At work, gotta work.
You need
When
that
I'm-
disconnect.
When I'm in my office, doors closed. Like
Yeah.
my team know if my door's locked or my door's closed, please don't knock. Unless the gym's burning down, please don't knock because I'm in my flow of work.
Yeah.
Right. And when I get on, like
Yeah.
when I'm started and I'm going, I give myself hour blocks and I just got to get that single task done in that hour.
Have you always been like
Yes.
that?
No.
No.
It took me a long time to get like that.
How long do you reckon?
Well, for me, it was kind of I had a problem with focusing, right? So when I had my whiteboard of things to do, I would jump from say the first thing halfway through. I'd jump to the next thing, or my phone would pop up with something, or I get an email, or
Yeah.
Sounds like someone I know.
I used to have to
That's me,
delete.
bro,
I used
yeah.
to have to delete the stuff from my deleted box. I don't know why I couldn't see. It was that bad, right?
Oh, I've got
and
that
that's
too.
like to me, it was
Yeah,
like I'm organized, but that's
Yeah.
just time wasting, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So now I'm like, okay, you got one task, you got 1 hour. Used to leave my phone downstairs, my watch downstairs at the desk.
Everything.
Yeah.
Go hard on that one task, and it works because now I'm more productive with my time.
Oh, there we go.
Whereas having, I don't know, say you have like 5 hours,
Having all
of
those
time
distractions.
and getting nothing done in 5 hours, as opposed to your hour done, go for a walk. So I walk around the block, kind of reset,
Yeah.
have some water, have something to eat, go back to the next task. So in my day, if I have 8 hours of work,
Yeah.
that's 8 tasks that are done, right? And then on
beautiful.
to the next day, you know? So productivity is a lot higher because I have that singular focus, but the actual finished product of whatever task I'm doing is actually better,
Yes.
right? It's not kind of a half-assed job or
Yeah.
a rush job or a quick job, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you first started the business, how were you aware of that? How did you make yourself become aware of that in the very early stages?
I think the best thing that I ever had in my early stages, because don't forget I was 22, right? Very young. Like I'm not old now, but that's 10 years ago more. And to be told you need to do something different or better, it depends on your personality. I was always a good student. So if I respected my coach or my mentor,
Elders, all that.
whatever they told me, I did, right? And I listened because I saw the finished product and they were at where I wanted to be at, right?
Yes.
So these guys were running their own semi-private studios in Bondi Junction, for example, 300 members, 10K a week, revenue. Like that's what at 22, you're like far out.
Yeah, your mind
That's the
would've been,
potential
want that
I can
sort
get
of
to. Whatever you say, I'm gonna do. So they would teach me about auditing my time.
Yep.
I was very old school when I first started. I used to have a book diary and used to write in that. And then they kind of got me to look at using a digital diary and using my phone and, prioritizing stuff, having reoccurring events, blocking out time. But then you can block it all out and make it all look nice and pretty, but then you actually got to do it, right?
Yeah.
So the key was me having someone to hold me accountable was the real
kicker.
breakthrough for me. Yeah. So when I had that, it changed everything for me.
Yeah.
So that's why I've always loved having a coach, right? Whether it's my training, whether it's my education, whether it's my business, having a coach to kind of help do the thinking for you in that sense, but also give you a perspective that's not emotionally driven.
Yeah.
For me, it helps.
Yeah.
And I love being able to talk to somebody that can understand my problems, because I don't know, like if you guys work together, you guys have very similar problems when it comes to the business, right? Because you're both very much at the same level, yeah?
Yeah.
But when you have somebody that works for you, say you bring another coach on and they work for you,
Yeah.
their problems versus your problems, you can't connect that. You can't relate because you're running a business that essentially puts food on the table for them. They're worrying about turning up and making sure they run the session the best as they can for you. That's the worst that it gets for them when they work for you, right? So when I have another business owner who helps me, we have the same problems, right? Every business owner, no matter how big or small they are, all have the same problems. So when you're in a room or when you're talking one-on-one with somebody like that understands your problem but has a way out for you and is actually tested and proven and works, and then you implement and then you see the fruits of your labor, I say, okay, this is great. And then you just, the next problem, fix, the next problem, fix, the next problem, fix.
Yeah.
And as you know, running business, there's always going to be something that pops up.
There's always problems.
Always.
All the
Nothing's
time.
ever going to be perfect. So I always tell my team, for example, never, ever, ever strive to be perfect at anything you do.
Yeah.
Because you're never going to get there. And as a default, as human beings, we are far from perfect. So we can actually never do anything perfect. So to strive for perfection is, in my opinion, you're setting yourself up to fail or to be just to be really frustrated.
Because you're always going to be disappointed with yourself because you'll never achieve that perfect.
Bro, I'm telling you, out of a 52-week year, I reckon I'm perfect with, say, my training, I don't know, 3 times of 3 weeks of the year.
That's so true.
Bro, like
so true.
But hey, I'm more consistent than I am perfect. So where's the growth? The growth is in the consistency, right?
Yeah.
Same concept when it comes to business.
So strive for consistency, not perfection.
Always. That's what if you see my content, if you see what I say to my clients, all I preach every day, to whoever listens, strive for consistency, don't strive for perfection.
Yeah, because I feel like people get lost in that. And I feel like as PTs, that's probably the biggest skill that we provide for our clients. We're coming in and we're teaching them, who cares if your session was a 1 out of 10? Who cares if you're super tired and you're half-assing your sessions? If you turned up, that's a lot better than most people.
Exactly right. But also if you turned up and you weren't feeling it, but we just changed the session around or we brought the weight down for that day, what is that one session, right, when you look at 365 days of the year?
Nothing,
exactly. So, but the thing is, what did you keep? Consistency.
And that's the main thing that you want to keep.
And that's what
because that rolls into the next week.
Exactly, and it just
builds a
adds
habit.
on. Exactly.
Yeah.
So think of compound interest. It's literally the same concept. It's building on top of the next, building on top of the next, and that's where you get the wins, right? And for me, when it comes to business, it's the same mindset. It always has been. I came from a very competitive background with my sports, and I took that discipline, that consistency, that turn up no matter how you're feeling, and just give it what you can. Into my business.
Like rain, hail or shine kind of mentality.
Have to. And it took me from, when I first started in like 110, 115 meter squared space. And then a year after I went to 270 meter squared space.
Yeah.
And then 8 years after that, I went to 1,000 meter squared space, right? So that concept, just helped me.
The compounding of the interest.
It changes the nuances of it or the little 1% things or the details. Yeah, they change. Yeah. But the bigger overshadowing concept, for me, it never changes.
Yeah.
It's just turn up, no matter how you're feeling, and give it 100%.
What does building a legacy through fitness mean to you?
Oh, okay. Look, through fitness, my thing that I teach about is not anything other than what improving your health can do for you. Yeah. So if my number was called today, the entire fitness industry would know Anthony Kassis had a great gym, fingers crossed, called Platinum Training Academy that helped a lot of people, right? And he taught a lot of people. He showed a lot of people what they can do through fitness and how they can help them in other avenues of their life, right? So for me, fitness is helped me with developing a much better attitude towards everything else in my life. That's where it is for me, right? And now I'm a father now. I got a 1-year-old. I've had the privilege of working alongside my brother for many years, and I'm the older one out of the two of us. So stuff like that is really important to me to let them see what I'm doing and my letting me lead by or making me lead by example.
The leadership.
But using fitness as the vehicle, right? If I've trained, my team know, oh, you trained today. You're on fire. If I haven't trained, they're like, what's wrong with you? Why are you off today? They always mention it, and that's why I train. I don't train for aesthetic purposes anymore, or performance purposes in that sense, because it just doesn't drive me anymore. I train to be healthy, to be strong, have a clear mind, so I can build my legacy, or build my empire, as I say to people.
There are moments when we are in these four walls running the business, and he notices I'm like really shitty, and he's like, bro, just hit the gym.
I tell him to go because he bottles all this energy up, all this stress, and then just gets to a point where you hit a brick wall. And when you hit that brick wall, the only thing to do is to get your body to move.
Yeah.
In order for you to open your mind, think a little bit slower, take your time with things, then you can focus on the nitty-gritty stuff.
It's true. And the thing is, when you exercise from a physiological point of view, that oxygen flow, right, it brings so many in that blood. As we know, it brings nutrients, right? Imagine all that, what happens to our brain and everything that happens to the rest of our body when we move and when we exercise. And then we got these feel-good hormones, our endorphins. We got this release of all this anxiousness. We're calmer, and then we go back to our work.
Yeah.
Right?
So much better.
So much better. Everything just
and
becomes
you get a
so
lot
much
more
better.
done as well. Because I was off this mindset that, right now the business isn't where I want it to be. So I'm just going to work longer hours. And that meant pushing away the gym or pushing away my fitness and my health. Then what I realized very soon was if I minused 1 hour and put that 1 hour into training, those extra hours I was doing were going to be a lot better. I was going to achieve a lot more because I had a better mindset. My mind was clear. And, how would I be able to do that without hitting the gym or doing something like that?
We're very much conditioned in this world, no matter what business you have, whether it's the fitness industry, in construction are the worst, right? And I always use them as an example because I train a lot of business owners that are in the construction industry. They always feel like the more hours, when they have their own business, they have to do these big hours because it's the only way to become successful and make money, right?
Yeah.
And I always tell them, and it's hard in that industry because you're relying on other people to be on time for their things. Right?
Yes.
And if someone's not on time,
This
it
is for, like,
delays the whole
builders and
job.
stuff.
Right? Yeah. Now, let's flip it back to us. When we look at trying to make more money, okay, never, ever, ever, and this is from experience, never, ever, ever, ever consider being busy as the goal. Always consider and always push to be productive. Right? If you can get 5 times more done in a third of the time, and then use that extra time to either relax, go for a walk, spend it with loved ones, or exercise, what would you, as opposed to spending 5 times more time and making the same money, but not looking after yourself or doing the things that you enjoy?
Yeah.
Which one would you choose? You'd choose to be more effective with your time
100%.
so you can spend more time doing things that you like
100%.
doing. That's the key.
The
right?
thing is, though, how do you know if that time that you're going to spend is going to be effective or not?
As in, well, then you got to set your goals. What are your goals? What do you want to get done for today? Right?
Yes.
Now, I don't know how you guys go about your goal setting and how you go about your action plans or whatever, but I have a very simple method I do what's called a reverse engineer of it all.
Yeah.
So I have the end goal. So for example, in the next 12 months, where do we want to be? So it's at the top.
Yeah.
And then I work backwards from there to the point where I go, okay, what do I have to do every day?
There we
So
go.
if I hit
What do I have to be consistent with?
Yeah, if I hit my daily tasks, it'll get me towards my monthly goals. It'll get me towards my quarterly goals, and it'll get me towards my yearly goals. So my focus isn't on that goal. Because when it's on the end goal, you're just doing as much as you can all the time because you don't know whether it's enough or not. Whereas if you set up the daily tasks, it takes all the worry and stress and thinking out for you because we spent a day on this as a team.
Yeah.
Right. So then we know that when the daily tasks are set, They're exactly what they need to be at the intensity that they need to be at. And then as the owner of the business with my team, I delegate, right?
Yes.
So my jobs are not the minuscule things that aren't going to make me money. My jobs are the big things. I'm selling people into, packages, or on the phone to other companies for collaborations, or I'm talking to, other people that can help educate me and my team on the things that we need to get better at. I'm moving the big rocks. But when I was in your position, when I first started, I was doing everything.
Yeah.
I was the coach, the business owner, the technician. I was everything. So for me, at that point, which I didn't know, I did everything. When I brought my brother on 6 months in, I go, okay, you're going to cover the sessions for today. Tuesday is your day. Morning sessions, evening sessions, you cover those.
Yeah.
I need to be in the office. I need to grow this business. So I do that. And then I got a second coach on, same thing. You two are going to run the sessions. I'm going to grow the business.
Yes.
And then I got my third coach on. And then as we
And
kept
that's when you
growing,
start delegating more and more.
so as we kept growing, I delegated. I didn't learn to delegate until maybe 5 years ago,
Yeah.
because I still took on so many things, and I just wanted to keep their jobs nice and simple, right? So, and I thought doing that was like, yeah, it's easy. All you got to do is turn up, train really hard, the sessions, run the sessions well, train the clients really hard, go home. But then they started coming in going, man, this is boring. This is too repetitive. And then I realized very early in my career that if I'm bringing people on, I need to give them an incentive to actually turn up. Right? I need to see them. I need them to see where their growth is. Because everybody wants to get better. Nobody likes to stay stagnant. Anybody who's passionate about their job never wants to be stagnant. They want to keep getting better at it because they want to see what they can do.
They want to see some sort of progression in their career.
So my team over the years now have taken on other roles in my
in your business.
in my business to help with the service we provide our clients. So I got my coach who went and did a massage therapy course. Now she's an in-house massage therapist. I got a coach who's doing a mental health course who's going to be our psychiatrist. Like there's, you know what I mean?
So it's all in-house.
Yeah, it's all in-house, but I'll give them, I want them to see where their progression is, you know what I mean? But yeah, the way, like going back to what I was saying to before about time, the best thing that you can do is always strive to be effective with your time and productive with your time, and give yourself time to just unwind or do the things that make you happy. You need to fill your own cup. You have to. It should be like the first thing that you're taught when you own a business is don't forget to fill your own cup, because you will burn out, you get resentful, and you won't love what you're doing. And then as a coach, it shows with your clients. Even if you think you're hiding it well, when you're one-on-one with a client and they get to know you over a period of years, they know when you're off, because they're seeing you more than they're seeing their own family if they're training with you multiple times a week, right? And so if you're filling your own cup and if you're in a good mood and if you're looking after yourself, you're going to be better for them. Right? When you guys start your own families and if that's what you want, when you come home and you're in a good mood, you're going to be better for them. Right?
Very important.
You know, I used to come home to a dad that was stressed out and pissed off at work all day because of work all day.
Yeah.
And who did he take it out on?
The family.
His two boys who were excited to see him. Do you get what I mean? Or he'd take it out on my mum because he was stressed out and angry. He wasn't angry at us. He was just angry in general.
Yeah. And that was resentment from overworking.
Yeah, just working hard and not getting enough time to do things that he'd like to do.
Yeah.
You know, had that feeling you're always chasing your own tail.
Yeah.
As business owners, I can relate. We can all relate to that, right?
100%. Where was
We're
your
always going to
inflection point?
trace. Where was my
Inflection point, like the point that you realize that you need to start filling up your own cup, because you were doing everything.
When I hit rock bottom physically with my health, that's when I was like, no, this is got to stop.
Okay.
Right? So I got diagnosed with autoimmune disease, and I realized, okay. And it was purely because I was not looking after myself the way I preached to all my clients that they should, right? You know? And I've been a hypocrite, for lack of a better term, of that. And it was one of those realizations that, hey, like, as though people look at me like I'm Superman, I'm only human. There's only so much that I can do.
Yeah.
So for me, that was my breaking point. That was my realization. That was like, okay, I need to, work 5 days, not 7. I need to do 10-hour days, not 16, right? I need to make sure I'm in bed by 8 o'clock to be up at 4 o'clock or 4:30, not be in bed at 9:30, 10 and go, no, it's all right, I'll power through. There's all these things, right? So yeah, that was where it was at for me. And then as I've grown and my team's grown, I've gotten smarter, my team gets smarter. We're hitting different problems.
Yeah.
The version of me is constantly has to evolve because the complexity of what we do is getting harder and harder. So I need to get better and better. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah.
Was there ever a moment where you felt like the gym wasn't going to survive, and what did you do?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you guys a story. There was a moment in my career where I thought I would have to claim bankruptcy. Right?
Okay.
And that was where I was like, okay, I got a choice. Do I just, close this book?
Yep.
No more Platinum Training Academy that everyone knows about, that I love, that's my passion and that my son's going to see one day? Or do I work out a way to get through it all? So obviously we're still here, so I worked out a way to get through it all. But that moment there was a very scary moment. It was for me, because it was the first time I actually looked failure in the face. I never looked at failure in the face before, because I don't consider failing as failure. I've always considered it as learning. And you need to consider it like that, because it's the only way to get better. But at that point in my life, that was literally, there was no learning there. I felt like I'd failed, and I could not wipe that from me.
Yeah.
I felt like I failed myself, my team, my family, my clients, my son. I felt like I failed everything that was important to me. But we got through it. It was tough. It still is tough, because I think about it a lot, and it drives me to never go back there again. But there was a moment. Yeah.
There was. Yeah.
And I think everybody in some point in their career may get to a moment where they feel like they can't continue, or they're failing, or they're not moving in the direction they want to move in. You need to take the emotion out.
Yeah.
You need to look at the black and white facts of the matter and go, why?
Yes.
What is it that I'm not doing that I should be doing? What is it that I have to change that I haven't changed, either about myself or about how things are running, or even as simple as what I'm charging my clients, right? Because a lot of PTs get scared to charge what they feel like they're worth, because they don't want to lose clients, or they try to bargain with them as a way to get them on, because they're just desperate, right? But then they end up holding resentment towards that client, which isn't the client's fault. It's your decision to drop your prices.
Yes.
Because they're just desperate, but they're not making enough to cover what they need to cover, or they're not where they want to be at, even though they're putting all these hours in, right? So something needs to change. And having that self-reflection was what I did. And that I made big changes, pissed a lot of people off, but I thought, it's okay. If you want to leave, you leave. I'm not losing my life because of the fact that you don't want to pay an extra $20 a week on your package with us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mate, it was scary, because I've always been the kind of person that was fearful of what people would think about me. I don't like to upset people.
Yeah.
But man, my son's the most important thing in the world to me after my faith, right? So there's nothing that's going to tell me that, no, you can't raise my prices because your son doesn't need it. He needs it, and he's going to get it,
Yeah.
That's how it is for me. And that's how simple I keep it with most people now. Like, when it comes to my business, there's no emotion in it. It's not, you're my mate, I'm going to look after you. It's like, no, this is our service. This is what you pay. There's a reason why I need to do these things, to cover these things. And if you don't want to pay, that's fine. Go to F45 down the road and get nothing for what you pay for. Like, it is what it is.
It's so true, though.
How many years were you in the industry when you were thinking of declaring bankruptcy?
This wasn't that long ago. This was like less than 12 months ago.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm talking about something that not many people know about. I'm fine. If it's going to help somebody, then I'm happy to talk about it.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
So you're in the industry for about 7 years at that point. 7 to 8.
This is.
Oh, sorry, more. 12 years.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I've had a good career. Praise God, I've had a good career. Like I've worked hard, and I've been able to build something that I'm pretty proud of.
Yeah.
But it does come with its challenges, right? And for me, it was always that fear of knowing my worth.
Yeah.
From a business point of view, right? And although people look at what I have from the outside and go, far out, he's got this cool gym with a pool and the sauna, and it's massive. Bro, I would go back to my 220 meter square space in a heartbeat to take away all the sleepless nights and anxiety that I had. You know what I mean?
Less stress.
I bet.
Bro, because people look at revenue and they think I'm killing it.
Yeah.
And I was always taught this, and I teach this to people that listen to me. Revenue feeds the ego, profit puts food on the table.
Yes.
All right? Revenue feeds the ego, profit puts food on the table. Go for profit. Don't worry about revenue.
Who cares about revenue?
If I'm making $1 million, but my expenses are $990,000, what is 10 grand in 1 year as profit? It's shocking.
So true.
But people look at revenue like, I made 20 grand this week. That's great, but you had $19,800 of expenses there. What are you going to do with $200? You know what I mean?
That was like the starting stage of dynamic for us. Like, it was that, oh my God, this is all happening at once. The revenue's high, sweet. And then we're like, wait, what are our expenses?
What are we left with? Yeah.
Let's break it down. Let's find a way to minimize the expenses and increase the profit.
There's a few different ways for that, which I love. I could talk about this stuff all day. But one of the things I will recommend is if you haven't, read the book called Profit First.
Profit First?
Profit First. It'll change your mind, your whole idea about how you run your business and where you put your money and how you work with your money.
By Michael?
Yeah, well, it's got a long surname.
Yeah.
But it's a great book, man. Either the hard copy or the audio book. Listen to it, you'll love it.
I like the hard copies.
You'll love it. So I'm an audio book guy because my mind just... If I have to read a book, I need to read it out loud. I know it sounds weird.
Yeah.
I read it out loud to myself, so my mind
hence
doesn't get
audible.
distracted.
The voices in your head are louder.
All right. I talk to myself, and my wife's like, "Who are you talking to?" I was like, "Don't worry about it. I have to get it out there. Just don't worry about it."
I feel like I'm an audio learner as well because my voice is, when I'm reading a book, I can't tunnel vision into a book because I hear the dog barking or I hear someone slamming something. You can never really concentrate.
But that audio, then I take notes. So I'll dedicate half an hour to an audio book, right? But in that half an hour, I've maybe listened to 1 page or 2 pages of that book because I'm writing notes. So I'll stop, rewind, keep going, stop, rewind, keep going. I do that a lot. Yeah. I use ChatGPT a lot when it comes to this book. So I go summarize the top 20 points of this book.
Yeah.
This is after I've read it. So I can have it. And then I'll go and read on that, and I'll learn. I'll break that down more.
That's actually a good idea.
Yeah, so it's takeaway points that are there for me always.
Yeah,
not having to constantly trying to remember. Right.
So many different
use that
rules.
and I pass it on to my team.
Yeah,
and my team learn. But
are you teaching profit first, revenue later as well?
Yeah, always.
Yeah,
always. Profit is king, man.
That's the importance of coaching for you and growing your team.
What's the importance?
Like the importance of coaching them through education and learning.
Yeah.
It's
my team is man, I can't speak highly enough about my team. I love my team. They're my family. Like my brother's my second in charge. Like if I can't trust my brother, who the hell can I trust,
Yeah.
But even I've had these guys with me. All of my team were my clients first, believe it or not.
Oh really?
Oh wow.
Yeah. Everybody that works in my team have been part of my community. The ones that have left or the ones that I've gotten rid of haven't been a part of my community.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
which
is so cool.
It says something about how we are. And the ones that are a part of my community first and they work for me, like I got 1, 2, 3, 4 coaches, plus me, it's 5. They were all my clients first. My 2 client care managers.
Yeah.
They're my clients first,
What were some of the turning points for them to want to become a PT?
Well, I think my brother went after his high school, he didn't know what he wanted to do. So I said, go and do your Cert 3 and 4 because he wanted to be an exercise physiologist. He didn't have the marks to go straight into the course at uni. I said, go do your Cert 3, 4, your diploma of fitness, and then you can be able to go into uni later as a mature age student with those behind you.
Yeah.
And then he did that. But I said, and I got him to work with me at EBP Fitness before it became Fitness Local as a receptionist. So he was working with me there.
Oh, was he a receptionist there?
Yeah, when it was before it became Fitness Local,
yeah.
And I was a 2IC there. I was a second in charge there. So I got him the job. He worked with me. And then I left and I did my own thing. And then maybe 6 months in, I said, come on, let's go. You're going to come with me now.
Yeah.
So I said, whatever they're paying you, I'll match it. And I'll pay you a bit more because mum will get upset if I don't. But he came and worked with me. And then that was it. Then my clients that became my coaches, they just fell in love with PT themselves. Like they wanted to do it. One was in corporate, one was a tradie. The other one was, he did his PT course. And then when I was put an advert out there for a coach that I wanted to hire, he inquired straight away and he's like, bro, I want to work here. I love this place. Yeah. So I put him on a probationary period and he passed with flying colors. Same as my other 2 coaches that I have now. And they've just, it's been a good little group. We've had coaches here and there throughout the years. Yeah. And for one reason or another, they're no longer a part of the team. But these guys are I've cemented my team now with these guys, which is great. Yeah.
That sounds good. Why do you feel like these coaches have stuck through the whole time and the ones that you hired that weren't part of your community and culture haven't?
They weren't the right people for our community.
Yes.
Right. And I truly believe that I can make any coach smarter as a coach. I can't make you a good person. Either you have it or you don't. Yes. Right. And the reason why some of all the coaches bar one that aren't around anymore. The one that isn't, there's one in particular that she left because she moved like down south. Yeah. She was a long-term coach of mine. And
That's
she was
a different situation.
Yeah, she was a client as well. She was fantastic. And we definitely miss her. because she was a big part of our community. But the other ones that have left, they just weren't the right people for the community.
Yeah.
And they didn't show that they cared the way I like my coaches to care about our people, you know? And that's pretty much what it was. And my clients are very quick to give me feedback anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, so-and-so not working here anymore? Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah, good. No, he wasn't right for us. My clients
They
tell
have
me
that sixth
straight
sense.
away, right?
They can tell.
They'll never tell us they were doing a good job, but they'll jump on the opportunity to tell me that we're doing a bad job about something, which is fine. Like I'm all for the honest conversation, you know.
Yeah.
But what differentiated was just these coaches cared, man.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all it was. They just were good people and they have good hearts and they just care.
Well, they were there from every stage, client to coach to potential different roles that obviously some of them are fading into as well. How do you go about finding if someone fits into your community?
It's all about, as in from a coach's perspective or from a client?
Both.
So from a coach's perspective, it's a very simple perspective that we have. I just got to see how they go. That's why there's a probationary period.
Yeah.
So we just got to see how they are. You know,
Yes.
and I've had some absolute, for lack of a better term, flops, like proper. I looked at them like, how did I even consider you, right? But that's what probationary periods are for, right?
Yeah.
With clients, you can tell. Well, for me, I can tell whether they're going to fit in or not. Some clients like to keep to themselves.
Yeah.
Right. So our model is very much a small group model. So there's always people around. Some clients like to keep to themselves, find their feet, and then they
Do
get
their own
comfortable.
thing.
They get to know people. It takes a bit of time. Other clients just come in, you know what, this isn't for me, go. Other clients like the one-on-one, the private sessions. So they don't want to be, not necessarily around other people, but they want that attentiveness.
They just
from
want the
that
one-on-one
coach,
and
right?
they don't really care about the community as
Yeah,
much.
exactly. So, you know, different strokes for different folks, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
for us, it's one of those things where most of the clients that are there love everything that we provide, and everything that is about us is very heavily community-based. There are that many gyms out there, man, and if you're going to go off the best equipment on every gym, that's great, but what does that really mean? You know, like we don't call ourselves the best gym. I don't like to call myself the best at anything, really.
Yeah.
But what we do have that's great is a very welcoming, fun community.
Yeah.
What we do have is a guaranteed result. What we do have is we do have pretty good equipment. I'm not going to lie, because I've invested a lot of money in our competition grade equipment, but that's not a selling point for me. All right. Some people, and I've had arguments with coaches in the past that start their businesses and they say, you got to get this equipment. Like, you don't really, bro. And they're like, yeah, well, why are clients going to train with you? So because of you, not because of your equipment. So, man, if you saw what I started with, right, with my first gym at Peakhurst, the equipment was from my garage. Like, it wasn't even commercial grade. I just started it with anything. And I had 50 people that would train with me before we opened the doors.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? It was because of my reputation. That's what it was because of. It wasn't because I had the greatest equipment. Trust me, I did not have the greatest equipment. My dad funded my first gym. All right, he gave me 20 grand. He goes, do what you can.
Yeah.
And then we turned that 20 grand I turned it to 6 figures in 6 months, right? But then we kept building from there. And then now the equipment's great because I've had to, like, you know, you constantly reinvest and reinvest and
course,
reinvest. But that's over a 10-year period. A lot of PTs misunderstand that, in my opinion. It's like, it's not about the
They want
equipment.
the A grade, everything, you know.
It may look good for the camera, but really, like, come on, man. I can get like the recycling bin outside, put some ice and water in there. There's your ice bar. Why would you go spend $20,000 on a freaking ice bar? Like, what? Because it looks good? Like, come on, man.
Just get that inflatable pool thing.
Literally, it has the same effect. Like, nothing burns me more than when somebody can get the same effect from their workout without the use of all these fancy things that look good for social media, because that's really what it does, right? My brother is a great bodybuilder. And all my friends will comment like, bro, you got no cable machines at your gym. How did you get him so strong? Like, how did he got this physique? Like, you use basic equipment. And I said, that's the point.
Yeah.
That is the point,
It is the point.
right? You don't need fancy stuff to get a good result. No. You need to work hard and look at the big rocks that you can move. And we know this, right?
Yeah.
And again, I used to argue with coaches all the time, you don't need fancy equipment. And they go, you know what you're talking about? I'm like, I don't know what I'm talking about. You're just starting. And I've been in the industry a decade. I've been with my own business a decade.
Yeah.
Like, trust me, if you see where I started.
I think I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Like, I got this nice equipment, not because my clients wanted it, because I wanted it.
Yeah.
That's really what it was for. I want it. I like to use it. I got deadlift bars, I got power bars, I got squat bars, I got calibrated plates. I got certain pieces of equipment because I like to use them. Because I like to put them into my programming.
Were you a powerlifter at one point?
Yeah. I competed twice. I made nationals in 2021, but lockdown, the second round of lockdown happened. I don't know if you guys remember. And then they cancelled the event. And then just kept training, which was great. I still train here and there as well, but I did boxing for a lot of my career as well. I competed I had 12 fights, 11 wins. That was fun. Nice. I loved boxing. I tried to keep going with it. I tried to pick it back up a couple of years ago, but it just got way too hard, man. Like running everything that I was running at the rate that I was trying to do it at as well.
Whilst also throwing boxing in the mix.
Yeah, boxing is like a full-time job. If you want to be great at boxing, it's a full-time job in itself.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to go, like I was always an amateur. I was never a pro, but I wanted to just do a couple of amateur fights and just see where we went, see how it went. It's still there. I still have a bit
11 and 12 is pretty good.
It was all right.
That's a pretty good start.
Yeah, it was all right. I won a couple of state titles, so I was happy, yeah.
Oh, man.
It was good, yeah. No, like I was actually decent at boxing. I had a very, very tough teammates that made me good.
Yeah.
They used to give me, I got beltings from these guys, man. They used to kill me.
Do you feel to cut you off. Do you feel like having a sport was super important in your own personal growth and business growth when you were running the business?
In hindsight, yes. At the time, no, because it was just something I was passionate about.
Yeah.
I wasn't mature enough to draw that connection.
Yeah, okay.
In hindsight, yeah. Training, being an athlete, that athlete mindset of showing discipline, of turning up when you're not bothered, showing that consistency, doing the things away from training that really play a big role in how well you can perform, all those things. In hindsight, I'm like, now I can draw the
Connect
connection.
the dots. Yeah.
Back then, it was like, I got to do it because coach said.
Yeah.
That's what I was always a good student, like I said before. So if coach said jump, I said how high. If coach said sleep at 7, I was in sleep at 6:30 just to get an extra half an hour, If coach said you got to be at the gym at 5 a.m, I was there at 4:30 ready. I was warm, ready to go at 5. I wasn't getting there at 5. I was that kind of student. And so for me, that mentality was like, okay, if this helped me develop success in that, imagine if I showed that kind of commitment to my business, to my studies, to my upskilling, to my team, to my clients, to my wife, to my son, to anything context in life. There's a lot of success that comes with that, right? So that's, for me, that's where, and again, in hindsight, it's like, it all makes sense now.
Yeah.
In the moment, when you're stressed and you're tired and you want to headbutt a wall because you've gotten 25 people that you've called that said no, right? To your campaign or your training or your offer, whatever it might be, you don't really care about what your sports have done for you then, right? But in hindsight, and when you calm down and you think about it properly, like, you know what, this is actually really important. And now that I've become a father, I really want to instill that in my son, Like everyone's like, you're going to kill your son's life. I'm like, yeah. I used to kill my brother's life. I used to train my brother so hard when he was younger because he was a very good football player. And
he was?
Yeah, he was really good. He was contracted with St. George Dragons at one point, and he was going to go there. Then he had a couple of injuries, couldn't play anymore. But he was bound to do something good with his football career. And I used to train him so hard. And it was funny. He got an award once for the best player in the entire club.
Oh, wow.
And he called me out. He's like, if it wasn't for my brother, I wouldn't be here.
Nice. That's
my boy.
What's the age gap?
4 years, or 3.5 years.
3.5 years, yeah.
Yeah, so I was 91, he's 95.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's April 95 and I'm October 91. So about that 3.5 years.
Yeah.
He's my best mate.
Well, you guys are running the business together.
Well, he's with the gym.
Yeah.
He's my 2IC. With the meal prep company that I was talking about earlier, we're business partners with that.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Meal prep company.
Yeah, we have a meal prep company as well. Yeah.
Lay it on me. I want to know more. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, think of it this way: we train all of our clients. We have a huge impact on what they do with their food.
Yes.
So we were referring them to other meal prep companies to get their food set up for them because they were always complaining about time. I don't have time to prep. You've heard all the reasons as well. And then we started getting meal prep companies that we were buying from at a wholesale and then on selling them.
Yep.
I wasn't happy with how they were cooked, the
quality of it.
The quality, everything. And I'm very big on my nutrition. So down to what oil they use is a big deal for me, right? Because of the way I teach clients about how to cook and prepare their food.
Yeah.
So I said to my brother, I'm sick and tired of jumping from meal prep company to meal prep company. Do you want to make our own? And he goes to me, yeah, let's do it. He goes, what do you want to call it? And I said, let's keep it on brand. Let's go. We're Platinum Training Academy. Let's call ourselves Platinum Meals. And that was it. It just stuck.
Mad.
We started in-house for maybe 2 years. No, a year and a half, I'd say. Yeah, let's say 2 years in-house, just using our clients first. because we wanted to get all the processes right before we went out to the public. From experience and being a consumer of meal prep companies and being very hard on them, I know exactly what somebody else would be like about my food.
Yeah, because you've been a client of one yourself.
Yeah, down from delivery, pricing, website not working, like any reason for somebody to not use your service, most people will just take it and run with it.
Yeah.
So we wanted to get it all done really, really well first before we moved on to
actually producing it,
using it for the public. But the way we wanted to do it with the public was a little bit differently. I didn't want to be that gym that just tried to get a lot of what we term as retail clients. I wanted to use the middleman, which was another company. So I wanted to have a lot of wholesale relationships with other businesses for them to on-sell the product to their clients. Right? Okay. So I don't want to deal with the everyday person. I want to deal with the person that actually understands the value of my product and what it's going to do for them, and they push it. Right? So other gyms, for example.
Okay.
We use a lot of vending machine companies, service stations. They're the kind of main three that we push at the moment, and it's working really well. So you're not
straight from
sorry.
You don't go from business to customer. That's outside of your gym. You go from business to business.
Yeah, that was the main thing. We do have our retail customers, don't get me wrong. A lot of my clients from Platinum Training Academy are retail customers of Platinum
still
Meals.
inside of the business though.
Exactly right. Yeah. But we do have a few other people that our clients refer to their families and friends about us. And
of course.
So there's that. There's also obviously using a lot of our socials. Our website's always up. People are always on our website. So we do have a lot of retail customers, which is great. But the relationship building that I like to do is with a wholesaler. So I'll call up a guy that's got 150, 200 vending machines around Sydney.
Yeah.
And I'll develop the relationship with him.
Okay.
And then he'll see the value in my product.
You focus more on that rather than...
Same thing with the gyms. I want to help you make more revenue to help pay your expenses down or whatever it might be, right? But I want to do it in a way that's going to make you look good to your clients because you're helping them out as well with sticking to their nutrition plans and ultimately helping them with their results.
Yeah.
And when we kind of position it that way, it's great. And, like using the community that my business coach has built with all these other coaches who are open-minded to other avenues of revenue that are easy for them.
Yeah.
Why not? And that's how we do it. So when we put together these plans for our clients, we get them on a subscription. So look, your struggle point is, for example, your lunches. Let's order 5 meals a week. And they go, okay. Or some of them might fight it. I go, okay, let's break it down one step further. What are you spending on your food? Do you prep your lunches? No. So you're going out and buying it.
The breakdown questions.
Yeah. And they go, okay, so I go, you're either going on Uber Eats because you can't be fucked walking to the cafe or you're walking to the cafe. So, but minimum you're spending is $40 at a time.
Yes.
Yeah, I go $13 for a full meal with no preservatives, great flavor, cooked like authentically.
Yeah.
Macros covered for you, calories covered for you. I go $13. You can get 3 meals for that one price that you spend at Uber Eats, Uber Eats or at the cafe. And I go, oh. And so when you break it down like that for them,
just dumbing it down in a way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But then we go, okay, look, I know you like variety. People don't like to eat the same food every day. Unless you're like me, I'm very like, I don't care. I'll just eat it. I'm there to fuel my body. I don't care about how nice it tastes.
Yes.
Yeah. So I look forward to my weekends for. Right. So for me, when we do it that way, I go, okay, as a consumer, I want to have a bit of variety. So we've got a menu of over 20-something meals on that thing.
Yeah.
And we on the menu and they can choose from. So they can chop and change as the weeks go on to really focus on making sure they can be able to have good tasting food, tick all the boxes with their health, keep them on track with their results that they want to achieve, but then not get bored of the same stuff all the time. So we give them a bit of variety,
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah, look, if you don't, as soon as you understand how people like to think and the way people think, it makes your decision making a lot easier for you when it comes to business, right? So my biggest thing is understanding your consumer, understanding your niche, for example, understanding their pain points will allow you to communicate to them a lot better and therefore be able to, kind of answer their questions in a sense or help them.
Before they even asked it as well.
If they've got their problem solved from you, they'll invest in you. As a coach, right? There's a certain person that you guys will attract, because you're solving, the main reason why they're going to contact you or agree to train with you is because you're solving their problems.
Yes.
Right? You're talking to them for what they need and your approach is helping them with where they're at now
and
to get them to where they want to get to, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with me. When it comes to the meal prep company or when it comes to
the training,
my personal training studio, we're solving the problems first And getting that kind of person to understand that we know what they're feeling and we have the answer for them. And then we have the conversation, and then we kind of steer them in the direction that we want to steer them in.
Yeah,
you know?
and then you've got the community to back it as well.
Well, we have the results, man. I've done this for a long time, so the results is the thing that we would like to push a lot of. But also, the community. We want people to feel comfortable and safe and enjoy what they're doing and where they're at doing it more 100%. Than anything. Anybody can get a result. Anybody. Like,
I feel like diving into your business, I feel like you really harp on the fact that you guarantee results. As soon as you walk in the door, you're guaranteeing them results, but you're also guaranteeing them that they have a community when they walk in as well.
It's a big thing.
Yeah, look, having support and being comfortable where you're training at is a huge reason. And like 95% of my clients are female. Right? Men couldn't give a shit. They just want to go in and get their session done, go home. Right?
And they're your one-on-one clients, right? They're your one-on-ones.
No, even some of my other guys and part of the groups, they're not too fussed on whether there's, whether they're comfortable there. But ladies like to feel comfortable because unfortunately, they just get intimidated a little bit easier than men do, right? A lot of men will bring their chest up, they just go into their shell a little bit, and I'm sure you guys understand that.
Most commercial gyms are just full of men.
Very intimidating.
For that reason.
And the weights room, which is where we know results come from training, is crowded by men. It's not an attack on men, it's just it is what it is, right? So unfortunately, ladies are going to feel intimidated. That's why ladies-only gyms popped up, right? That's why for us, we have a smaller group, right? And the men that train there are great. The ladies that train there are awesome. Like they train together, they have a laugh together. Everyone's very much kind of around the same age too. They all have the same things that they talk about. Kids, husbands, wives, work, whatever it might be.
Because you're solving one problem.
We have a niche, right?
Yeah.
And everyone gets along really nicely, which is good. And I love being there. I love the way that everyone gets along, has a laugh. Like you've got 5 a.m.ers that come in, and we're joking around, having a good time. 5 a.m., like sun hasn't even risen yet, and everyone's having a laugh.
Yeah.
It's a great way to start the day, right?
It is.
Same thing, 6 a.m., 7 a.m. We have our set people that train at set times, and everyone just gets to know each other, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize how important community and a good culture was until I got educated on it. Right?
Okay.
And then I realized, okay, let's pull on this a little bit more. Let's do things that are going to involve everybody a little bit more. And it's been great. It's been really, really good. Yeah.
And you guys run events and stuff like that at your gym too?
Yeah, we do like powerlifting meets. We have little fun events that we do for with our clients for charity and stuff like that. But essentially, it's just about bringing people together and either celebrating their hard work and dedication through things like powerlifting, or bringing everybody together, understanding the meaning of the day or the meaning of the fundraiser, and just feeling good about giving back. We're blessed with a lot, and it's always a good way to remember that by when you give back to somebody or when you give back to helping other people with whatever they might be going through. What made you invest into a coach? Because I feel like you have been with a coach for many years. What made you make that first step? Okay, I think it was a long time ago when I had my first coach, but I got referred. It was
12 years ago, right?
Yeah. I got referred by an old school friend of mine. He was running an outdoor training business. He's like, man, this guy's helped me like double my revenue. And I was like, okay, well, I've always had aspirations of opening up my own business. But back then when I met him, I wasn't in a position to do so. So he just chatted with me about what we could do initially to get started. And he goes, you know what I want you to do, man? I'll never forget him. His name was Lenny. He goes, come to my gym in Bondi Junction. Come and meet me in person. I'll show you what I've got, and I'll show you the potential that you can have for yourself. I walked in, I fell in love with his facility. It wasn't the biggest facility. It was a semi-private PT studio, and it was just cool. It was really cool. And he was talking to me about...
You said it was small as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't that big, man. It was maybe, I'd say 150 meters squared.
Wow.
Right? It wasn't that big, right? But he had groups of 6, and he had 200 clients, paying him 150 a week, right?
Yeah.
But you're not complaining if you got that going at 2012. You're not complaining at all, man.
Back then, yeah.
Anyway, so we're there, and he's showing me around, and then we sit in his office, and he goes, look, what do you want to do? No, he said to me, sorry, why did you start in this industry? I said, because I love it. He goes, yeah, we all love it. He goes, but why did you actually start? He said to me, he goes, what do you want from this? I said, I want to start my own business. I want my own gym. I always said that when I started being a PT, that one day I'm going to have my own gym, because I thought it was the coolest thing in the world to have your own gym.
Yeah.
I still think it is the coolest thing ever too. And He goes, okay, that's your goal. He goes, you're going to do that with me in the next 12 months. He ended up being my business coach for 3 years.
Yeah, there you
It
go.
took me from into 2012. I had him into 2015, 2016, maybe 4 years, I think. And he saw me open up my business in 2014. He helped me with that. And I kept him on for another couple of years. Then I said, look, he kind of got me to this point where we weren't kind of moving.
Yep.
And we shook hands, went our separate ways. I spent about 12 months without one. And then I met another guy.
Yeah.
When I went away on this business retreat to Bali, I met another guy there and we got along like a house on fire. He became my second business coach, and then we just kept going. But to answer your question, the decision was because of the fact that I knew, and this was where you had that kind of self-reflection, I knew I couldn't get to where I wanted to get on my own. I didn't have the knowledge, I didn't have the experience. All I knew was training people.
Yeah.
Right? And I was like, okay, how can I be able to do what I'm doing in a bigger way? I need to get better. How do you get better? You've got to educate yourself. Or you need someone to help you get there. You need someone with a direction. And back then he was in his 40s already, so he had a lot of experience.
Yeah.
I'd only been in the industry maybe 2 or 3 years at that time. He had been there for over a decade, so he knew a lot from experience and from knowledge, right? So the more he taught me, the more I really understood, and the better I got. But the better I got quickly. I got good very quick.
Yeah.
And people were like, bro, you're 22 and you're running this business like the way you're running it. Yeah. And I said, because I got good mentors around me, you know, and you always have your fair share of idiot clients that come your way, right? Let's not be shy about that. There's some people that I wish I never met in my time. But they've definitely taught me a lot about how to hold myself. But because I was young back then, I could tell a lot of them didn't respect me as a 22-year-old, charging what I was charging them. They're turning up. I'm making them listen to me about nutrition, changing a lifestyle, training, teaching them things that they thought that they knew everything about, but really that they didn't.
Yeah.
It was a big learning experience the first couple of years for me. And then I finally hit the ground running, and we started to attract the right kind of people as clients, but it was purely because of the kind of way that we were attracting them. I wasn't doing Facebook ads.
Yeah.
I wasn't publicizing myself in that realm. It was more referral. We had clients bringing in their mother, father, sister, brother, cousin. We had other clients bringing in husbands, wives, kids. Like, it was a very family-oriented gym. And that's why the culture was so good. And it still is good because we got family training together.
Yeah.
You know, I got a husband and wife and their kids training there, right? Like, you can't get more family than that.
You can't get more community.
I got my wife's cousins. I got my own cousins there. I got some of my closest friends there. You know, I got so many people that train there that have either got their own family members there that they've brought in, or they've developed their own relationships with the clients over the years, and now everyone just knows each other from a first name basis, right?
That's so cute.
I got a group of 10 ladies. They met each other at my gym. I don't know how long ago. I can't remember. But now every morning after they train, 10 of them gather at the front of the gym on the street and go for a walk around the block after they train. 10 of them every single morning without failure.
That's awesome.
Well,
But they met at my gym.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I love that. And like, you can't, I didn't do that. I didn't build that. That just happened as a result.
You didn't force that group or anything. It just happened.
It was great.
naturally.
I thought it was awesome. Yeah. And I love seeing it. Sometimes I drive past them in the morning and I beep at them and they just wave. And I think to myself, that's from my gym, you know?
Yeah.
Like, no ego to that. It's just, it's a nice feeling. It's to me, I just get happy about that, you know?
In a way, you created that without realizing.
Yeah. And it's a reminder, like, just to keep going. Like, although sometimes we focus on the negative that, or we're not where we want to be at, and that's purely because we're ambitious people.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's nice to use those little things as reminders of, hey, look, I've actually come a long way. I've done a lot of good things.
You were before.
You know? Yeah, like, you know, there's real progress that I've made in my life. Although sometimes it feels like I haven't, there is progress that I've made in my life, you know?
Yeah.
And for me, it's, those little things are nice reminders.
What's been your most effective strategy for growing your client base? Apart from the referrals, obviously the way our industry runs is all through conversation and how you talk to someone. How important has that been for you in your growth for the business?
Building relationships is huge. That's why referrals are such an easy way to build clients, because they come through as what we term as a qualified lead, right? So they're coming in, they've been referred to us from a trusted source. So it's a win-win for them and it's a win for us, right? But the biggest thing for me is building that relationship regardless, right? You need to build a relationship because it's the only way to build trust, right? People might be referred to us, but they're still skeptical.
Yeah. It's
by nature. Australian culture, we're skeptical. American culture,
syndrome.
In America, they'll applaud you when you build your business, and they'll throw money at you to see you succeed. That's how Americans are, right? I love that kind of culture.
Over here, it's the opposite.
Over here, it's the opposite. You succeed, everyone's talking about you, right? You say you got a great program. What do you mean? What's the catch?
Oh, look at this guy. Yeah.
It's just the way it is. So, look, there are good people that want to see you succeed, but a lot of people just hate success because it's a reflection of what they haven't done, right? That's how I see it. That's the only way I can justify it without calling that person, or you know what, you know?
Yeah.
But
everyone knows it as well.
It's true, yeah. But so to answer your question, building the relationship, building on top of the trust that's already there is huge. So we do that from, our guarantee. We have actual in-writing guarantee. You don't get your result in the 16 weeks that you're with us, we'll train you for free until you get the result. So that's me telling them that we're not going to waste your time, so we're expecting the same from you. So we set the standard from the start. The other thing is we have a testimonial booklet right there when they're in the consult with us. So they can flick through it and see the before and after, see the written testimonials, to say that we're not just tooting our own horn. We actually do bring about good results.
Do that stuff. Yeah.
The other thing is throwing things on our socials, not just before and afters or educational stuff, showing the fun things, the real stuff that people can connect to. So we showcase our community a fair bit. The high fives, the laughs, the hugs, the fun people have there, not just the training, right?
Yeah.
And then, just having a good conversation. And we have a script that we follow with the consult to kind of keep us on track, of where we want to go with that conversation. But a lot of it at the start is what we term as the groundwork. Is getting them to talk to us about
setting that foundation.
Yeah. But finding out what's really important to them, right? I don't care that you want to lose weight. That's great. You'll lose the weight. Just stop being like a dickhead. You'll lose the weight, right? I want to know what's important to you. Like, why do you actually want to exercise?
Yeah.
Because I hate looking at myself in the mirror. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere, right? I want to be a better example for my kids. Now we're talking. Come on, give me some more, right? I don't like the person I see in the mirror. Here we go. Let's go. Come on. Then we start to build trust with them because they've trusted us with the real reasons, not just I want to look good in my bikini. That's everyone wants to. Who cares about that? Right, I'll get you that. But you don't want that at 5 a.m. in the morning when you're tired.
Yeah.
But you'll get it for your kids. Right, so that's why we talk about these kinds of things, because let's talk about the real stuff. You're going to invest 16 weeks and over $2,000 of money with me?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to make it worth your while. Let's talk about the real stuff. So that's how we build trust. And it works because we use that and then we go, okay, this is the direction that we're going to go in. We're going to remind you about these things that are important to you when you're not motivated, right? To remind you about consistency and why that's so important. But we're also going to remind you about how simple the approach needs to be to get you from where you're at to where you want to get or where you want to be. And then all we're going to do is make sure that you're held accountable. And this is the process that we do it in. It works. Testimonial booklet. We've gotten people great results. You're a referral from somebody who got a great result. So you can see what we're doing is working, right? But this is how it's going to work for you. And then we go down the road of coaching them as an individual. But essentially, trust is huge because I myself, if I get random messages about a sale, and that there's what's on that text message or what's on that phone call that the person's saying doesn't actually sound like they are really
there's no confidence,
meaning what they're
trust.
talking about, or they're just doing it because that's what they're getting paid to do. I'm not going to buy off you, right? I work hard for my money. Why do I want to let it go? Same thing as everybody else that's out there. They work hard for their money, which we will respect that. Why do they want to let it go? Give me a reason to let that money go. I want to know what's involved in this transaction. Or really, do I really want to let go of this money to you? Am I convinced yet? I don't know. Not everyone's going to be for us, right? We all understand that. But essentially, for me, when it comes to that, the most important thing before the results is the trust. And we have a process that we go through to kind of bring down those walls of distrust, for lack of a better term, and just get them to understand that we're talking to somebody that is going to actually invest a lot of time into you to really help you. And then, it just goes from there.
I noticed this whole podcast, you haven't used the word personal trainer. You've always used the word coach.
Yeah, I had a thing about that a couple of years ago. A personal trainer will count your reps. A coach will get you a result and actually cares about you.
We literally just made a video about that the other day.
It's just a word thing that people play on. Really, if you're going to ask me what my profession is, I'm an entrepreneur. And you two should be saying the same thing about yourselves, right? Because you are, right? Personal trainer is a course you study. Sorry, a course that you study. And it's one of those things where it's just for however long. That's the course. Great.
Piece of paper.
That's what a personal trainer does, right? But a coach does more than that because in my opinion, a coach will go and spend an extra 150, 200 grand, maybe even more in their career on education to get better for you because they care about getting you a result. That's what a coach does. And if you think about the great coaches that either of you had in your lives, what do?
Upskill.
They scared and they got smart. They cared, they were passionate, and they got smarter to help you get better.
Yes.
That's what I believe a coach does.
Yeah.
And that's what I believe I do and I've done in my career and my coaches do as well. Yeah.
It's a very important difference to people that watch this sort of content.
Yeah.
To know the difference between what a personal trainer and a coach is, I think they just think of the whole industry as one thing.
Yeah.
And they just blanket statement as you're a personal trainer.
But look, if you think of it this way, and I always tell people this, if you compare when I started in the industry in 2010 to what I see today as people who call themselves coaches, there was nobody back then that had a PhD that was a coach. A lot of people now that are coaches have PhDs. Like, can you see the level of intelligence that we're working with here?
A lot more.
And you want to throw all of us in a basket of people that run Les Mills classes? Like, you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, do you understand?
You definitely should make that big distinction.
Have to. But how do you make that big distinction? You need to communicate that. How do you communicate that? Through content, things like this.
Yeah.
Right, through the results that you bring.
Yeah.
Right, through the extra education that
That's
you
very
do.
true.
That you can communicate to your clients. As soon as I do a course, or as soon as we are going to make a change, I make videos for my clients to notify them, hey, we've just done this great course. We've got new things coming out. Be ready. Get excited. Or, hey, we've just gone over all your programs that we do for you. We've bought new equipment. We've done these new courses or whatever it might be.
Yep.
We're changing your programs up. Be ready. Get excited. And the reason why I do that is a reminder to them that we're constantly working to help them get better and to provide a better service to them, but also as a way of reminding them indirectly that we're not just people that count reps. We don't just do that. We actually understand the nitty-gritty of what we do, and to a level of depth that most people don't go to with movement, for example, so that you can actually move safely, effectively, work your muscle right, get a great workout, whatever it may be, right?
And get a good result.
Yeah, exactly.
How did you teach that to your coaches?
How I'm saying it to you guys.
Yeah, exactly the same.
I'm a very direct, simple guy,
Yeah.
right? So I say to him that there's a reason why we're doing this. And I feel that like some bosses, for lack of a better term, may not feel the need to explain to the depth that I explain stuff to my team, because they feel like, I'm the boss, whatever I say goes. That's true. My rule is the rule. Yes, it's my place. But if I'm going to get my team invested and get them to understand the big picture and get them to respect me as a person and as their colleague, there's a level of explanation that I always give them to get them to understand why we're doing what we're doing, because the investment in them triples.
Yeah.
Right? We're going to do videos for our team. Why? Because I fucking said so. What response am I going to get from them? Oh, here we go. So what's the effort and passion and energy going to be like in the videos? Shit. Or, hey team, we're going to do these videos for the clients. What for? Because I really want to get them to understand how hard we're working for them, and the fact that I want them to get excited, just like we're excited about doing these things. All right, Matt, let's go. An extra 5 seconds of my time isn't going to kill anybody, right? But the investment I get from them is always something that is going to be a lot higher.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How do you go about portraying that through your social media?
We just do it. Like, it's one of those things where not many people know the background stuff about how I am with my team, because we, as much as we love each other, we all butt heads anyway, because somebody's in a bad mood, right? Or I'm tired and stressed. Or one of my, sorry if this
you didn't
offends
train that day.
So sorry if this offends any females, but one of my ladies is on a period, and she's in a mood, right? We do butt heads, but because we have a mutual respect for each other, communication is very open, right? And if someone's on a good mood, I'll ask them, "Are you okay? Are you all right?" But we don't kind of talk about that stuff outside of on our socials,
Of course.
But
That stuff is behind closed doors.
not because it's personal or private or we don't want to look about it, but because really it's not something that we need to feel like that we need to share. Like, not everything needs to be shared. We want to share the fun stuff, the good stuff. We want to share the real stuff, yes. I do that on my personal page about the real stuff that I share about me personally. And if one of my coaches wants to share their story about a struggle they're going through,
they can.
That's for them to do, but I got no right to share anything about them, right? We don't, our clients that see us face to face see how we interact with each other, and they always talk about how we just are a great team. But it comes, I'm the leader. I need to lead by example. I'm not the leader that's a dictator. I'm a leader that leads by example. So if you're
in there doing the same thing.
Yeah, I'm working hard too, right? I'm putting food on the table for these guys too. If I don't push, where does the push come from? If I don't lead, where does the leading come from? If I don't direct, who's going to direct? Right? If I don't sit there and pull the team together for our monthly team meetings and get them to look at how we went the previous month and where we want to go this month, who's going to do that? No one's going to do that. Sometimes I put my 2RC in charge of those because I want to sit back and see how he runs it, and he does a great job, right? Everyone's got their own kind of style. Yeah. But I give him the framework, I tell him the points he's got to cover, and I say, you need to run this now. And then I kind of mentor him a little bit more about how he needs to run it. Because as my team's going to grow, his role will be more prominent with running these things.
Yeah, doing those roles.
Because I'm the guy that's going to be just overseeing it all and doing the 2 or 3 things a day that I need to get done to really make the business grow.
Yeah.
Right? But yeah, we don't really kind of advertise it or communicate it. But as a leader, I think everyone can agree, if you're a business owner and you have a team, whether it's 1 or 5 or 7 or 8 like I do, if you're not a good leader, that's your first priority that you need to get good at, is being a good leader, being a good communicator, really making sure that you can bring these people of all different personalities and all different walks of life together to work for
towards the same goal.
Yeah.
How important it sounds like everything you're saying is just hectic. It's crazy. It's good to hear. How do you go about rest, and how important is rest to you? Splitting up that time between going away on a holiday with the missus and your son to nodding down and just freaking doing work.
I think first and foremost, I need to take my hat off to my wife. She's very understanding about my life, in a sense of my business is going to put food on the table for us. So she's not an overbearing wife where I need to not do anything, and she's very understanding, and sometimes she's too understanding where I'm doing a 16-hour day, coming home, seeing her for 10 minutes, going to bed, getting up the next day and going again. She won't complain, right? And I'm very blessed to have a wife like that. Yeah. Because I've heard stories about a lot of other couples that it gets messy when that kind of stuff happens, right? Yeah. But for me, it's just really being present when I need to be present with my family. And for many years, I got over not filling my own cup, for example, right? And now I understand what fills my cup. It's my family time, it's my exercising, and it's me having that time to myself to let my brain just kind of rest for a minute, right? So if I can do one of those 3 things on a day, that's enough for me, right? So drawing that distinction, and I've even got it in my phone on my calendar, you must finish work at this time.
Really?
Yeah, because if I don't, I'll be there till 9 o'clock from 5 a.m., right?
Yeah.
And yes, I'm passionate about my job. I love my job. Knowing that I can actually work and reap the rewards of, building
your business,
my business, and making more money. To me, it motivates me because I can use that money for the next project that I want to fund, or the next thing that I want to do, right? Or just be able to move forward in the areas of my personal life that I want to move forward in. So, for example, to go on a holiday, I was telling my wife, I got to hit my targets first, or else I'm not going nowhere.
Okay.
And if we do go somewhere just for a weekend, I'm not going away for a month. She was like, you better fucking do it.
The coach in you sets that goal.
Yeah, I put the pressure on myself, right? Because I don't want to let my wife down, and I want to spend time with my son. I want him to see the world. I want him to do the things and experience the things that I couldn't do.
Yeah.
Right? But I also want to teach him about the fact that this isn't a privilege. This is a privilege. It's not deserved. It's earned.
Yes.
So when he gets old enough, he's going to have to
do the same thing.
My dad taught me that. I love my dad. He's next to, he's the most influential man in my life. Yeah. Right? In so many areas of my life. He taught me to earn stuff. First car, he bought the car for me, but I had to pay for the insurance in my name.
Pink slip.
And on your red peas, you know what your insurance premiums are like. Yeah. And I wasn't earning that much money back then when I was 18, 19 years old. Pink slip, green slip, insurance, full comprehensive as well, not third party.
He put you in the deep end.
Yeah, bro, with no floaties either, right? And didn't teach me how to swim.
Just chucked you in.
Yeah, but you know what he taught me? To value money.
Yeah,
that's a big thing.
And he taught
value hard work.
Yeah, he taught me how to earn my keep. And all my friends were like, bro, that's so hard on you. And I was, at the time at 19, I was like, this asshole. 33 years old, I'm like, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I built my empire because of what you taught me, right? And that's what I want to teach my son. I know he's going to hate me because if it's anything like me, he'll definitely hate me. But he's going to learn, and I'm going to communicate to him every day why.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. There's guys that I study from and learn from that, were in poverty. These guys are like 8-figure, 9-figure companies now from poverty, right? So if anybody can do it, if they can do it, anybody can do it, right?
Yeah.
And for me, that's motivating. That's not, he got a handout, he got help. No, that's motivating.
Yeah.
Anybody succeeds around me that I hear about, I clap for them, I cheer for them.
Yeah.
Because I know how hard it is to get 1% better, let alone
you have to
20% better. You have to. Because nothing in this world is given to you. And if things are given to you, if you don't appreciate it, you're going to lose it.
Yes. It's all that story about the lotto winners. They win the lotto, and within 12 months, they lose it all.
They lose everything, not just the money. They lose everything. Like they lose their homes. They
lose that plus more. Yeah.
They lose. They're behind where they were before they won the money. You know what I mean?
Because everyone strives to win the lotto, but then once they receive it, they're not able to. They've never learned the lessons of having that amount of money in their pocket.
I always tell people, whoever wins a lotto, there should be a rule that it gets put into an account and they get that money drip fed to them.
Yeah,
and
like a wage.
That would because, bro, like, think of it this way. My father-in-law, right, he's one of the hardest workers I've ever met.
Yeah.
And he's got close to $1 million in his super, right? And he said there's a thing that his older brother did where the bank takes it and they drip feed you like a wage. I said, do that. He goes, why? I said, if you get here with $1 million in one go, no one's seeing you, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are you going to do with that money? You're going to throw it around everywhere. I said, and that's all you have left to live the next bunch of your life in. I said, just let it drip feed to you.
Yeah.
Put yourself back on a wage. Put yourself on $100,000, right? That's $2,000 a week.
That's very true.
He goes, I said, do it. I said, really? Like, that's the best way to go about it. You're not working traditionally, but you're just getting $2,000 every week into your account. Like, it's mad. I believe they should do that with the lotto because people would stop being homeless if that's the case,
Yeah. That'd be so smart.
We had a guest on our podcast, Anwar, a couple weeks ago would have been, and he spoke about an experience that he had when he went to Turkey. Was it Turkey?
Yeah, Turkey.
And he went to Turkey, and it was that inflection point for him to be so grateful for the privilege of being able to go over there, see the poverty that was there, come back and work 10 times harder because he understood how privileged he was, and that's something that his dad taught him as well. Is that something that your dad taught you from a very young age, or was there an inflection point that you went?
There's no Turkey, what?
Turkey, no, but there was definitely stuff that my dad would teach me, but there's also stuff that I saw. I saw my family struggle.
Yeah.
Right? I came from a family, like I'm sure the same with you two, of hard workers. Right? We didn't have the most money. Right? We worked very hard. And I had a mum that would stress about end of month, affording everything all the time. Right? Just to take us to Queensland, they had to go and put it on their credit card. And then my mum would tell me they're struggling to pay it off because they just want to take us to Queensland. And I was a teenager. I said, you didn't have to take us. We were happy just to go down the coast.
Yeah.
Like, we're happy to hang out together at home.
2-3 hour drive.
But my mum and dad wanted to do that for us because they felt the pressure of everybody else doing it in my family. So they felt bad, right? But when I started to build my own business, I looked at my mum. My dad and I had a fight, actually. He said, you want me to give you my money, to help you start your business? I said, Dad, I need it. Either that or I'll go take out a business loan. He goes, I'll give you the money. He goes, but I don't think you're mature enough to have your own business yet. I looked at him. I looked at my mum. I looked at him again. And I said, I'm going to prove you wrong. I go, thank you. It's for what? I said, you just motivated me to prove you wrong.
Gave me goosebumps, bro.
He came into my gym 6 months later. He stood in the middle of my gym and started crying. And he goes, he gave me a hug. He goes, I would never have the balls to do what you did. I looked at him and I bawled my eyes out like a 5-year-old. And I said, if it wasn't for you, and me and my dad are very open like this. The smallest conversation becomes a D&M with my dad and I. I go, if it wasn't for you saying what you said to me, although you meant it, it hit me and my ego because you forced me to have to grow up.
Yeah.
Right? The person that you idolize tells you you're not mature enough. What are you going to do?
You're going to prove him
You're going to prove him that you are, right? And so he did that for me without even realizing he did that for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I looked at my mom. I said, I'm paying your mortgage off. I go, one day it's going to happen. I'm going to pay your mortgage off. And she's like, no, that's not, we should be doing that for you. I said, no, I'm going to pay your mortgage off. And I don't know when it's going to happen, but I'm going to fucking do it. I'm going to pay your mortgage off. And I still hold that promise to today.
Of course.
I said, one day it's going to happen. I'm going to pay your mortgage off. Because when you come from a family that struggles and gives and gives and gives and gives, when they have nothing and they still give, for me, if somebody gives me 5 cents, I will not sleep until I give that 5 cents back to them.
Yeah.
Right? My mum and dad, I owe
Because
them
of your
everything.
roots.
Yeah, but I owe my mum and dad everything.
Yeah.
Right? People go to me, you're doing so good, you're doing so good. I say, I'm blessed. They go, no, you worked hard for it. I'm a very religious person. And I say, look, yes, I worked hard for it, but I worked hard. I'm able to work hard for it because of what I'm blessed with to be able to do that. I'm blessed with support. I'm blessed with my family. I'm blessed with an amazing wife. I'm blessed with the best in-laws, right? I'm blessed with a brother who is my best friend. Not like my best friend, he is my best friend.
Yeah.
Right? I'm blessed with, my sister-in-law who my brother married, who has become like another sister to me, right? There's people around me that and my team, my clients, like the list goes on. But the people that are around me are one of the biggest reasons why I get up and I go, let's go. No matter what the challenge is, no matter what the struggle is, right? Because when you realize that so many people believe in you, you owe it to them at the very least to go and give it 100%. Whether you succeed or fail, that's not important.
Yeah.
You owe it to them to just give it a go. Give it a crack, right? And going back to one of your first questions about my legacy, this is the biggest reason why.
That's mad.
Because of everyone that's ever invested time, effort, money, care, love, whatever kind of support in me, I owe it to them.
Would you say that's the biggest lesson you can teach your son?
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. That, and also just never give up.
Never give up.
Never give up. Because what happens then?
You never saw.
Nothing
You never
happens.
saw the other side.
You just literally, nothing happens.
Dipped your toes in a little bit. And
Even then, like, going back to my religious roots, it's like, even in the Bible, it's like if you've been blessed with gifts and talent, it's a sin to not utilize them to the best of your ability.
Yeah.
That for me is step one. He could have given my life and my skills, my talent to anybody else in the world. My parents, my family, my wife, to anybody else in the world. There's how many homeless kids out there or kids with abusive parents out there.
Yeah.
Right? Could have given that life to any of them, but he gave it to me. At the very least, that's my reason. At the start of it all.
so you want to use it. Yeah.
It could have been anybody else's, but he gave it to me. Let's make something good from it. Let's help other people with it. You know? That's why we do fundraisers. Not to flex that we did a fundraiser and look cool for social media. Because of what I've been given. I want to give back whatever I can to somebody who's got, a bit of an unfortunate case in their life, whether it be health or whether it be poverty or whatever it might be, If we can help, it's the best thing to do.
What's your thoughts on? There was a little quote that me and Brendan always heard along the way of our business journey, and it was like, "You are the 5 people that you surround yourself with."
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
So true, man.
Yeah.
So true. I have one friend left from high school.
Wow.
One.
He's been my best friend since we were 8 years old, right?
Yeah.
He's one of the smartest guys I know. He's a solicitor. He runs his own business. One of the smartest guys I know. And him and I are like 2 peas in a pod, right? And that's it. Other than that, I'm hanging around with my business
family.
coach and his people who are like way up where I want to be.
Yeah.
Or I'm hanging out with my family, or I'm with my wife, I'm with my son. Like, that's it. I don't surround myself. I used to surround myself with everybody. I used to like to be popular. I used to want to be liked by everybody. And then I got to a point in my life where when I was going through a hard time and I was doing things that, weren't necessarily
in line with
my beliefs and with who I put myself out there to be. And that showed me who my real friends are. Right? When I started my business, I woke up literally to having no friends. I'm not joking you. I'm not exaggerating. I woke up, none of my friends wanted to speak to me anymore.
When you started your business?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It was the weirdest feeling, and I still get angry about it today because it's like, why?
Yeah.
Bro? They just all stopped hanging out with me.
You would have questioned it straight away.
I did. I asked all of them, like, what was going on?
What the fuck?
And they're like, nothing. When you're busy. I started making all these excuses. I see them now, and it's funny, without trying to sound egotistic, and I don't like when people don't succeed in their lives, because everyone deserves some success in their life, or to be happy at the very least. They're still in the same spot they were when I was with them 10 years ago. They're still in the same spot. They're still just little kids in a circle talking about each other behind each other's back. And I'm actually so glad that I'm away from that. And I feel like God took me out of that very quickly.
The black sheep.
Yeah.
For a reason, right? And when I look at them, I'm like, okay, maybe it was a good thing they're not in my life anymore. But
and that was just like one of your blessings.
Definitely. One of many, definitely. At the time, I was upset because it's like, like you lost all your friends. They were hanging out at my house, man. Like, I got to say, they're still hanging out with my parents. That's how close we all were.
Yeah.
And then gone. Even my mum was upset. She's like, what happened? I don't know. I woke up one morning and all of a sudden, nobody wants to hang out with me anymore. I don't understand what's going on. But I realized very quickly that when you change, and I changed a lot about myself very quickly.
Yeah.
Because I actually got fired, right? And then within 2 weeks, I started my own gym. So I had to change everything about my life like that.
Yeah.
Who I was, what I said, how I held myself, everything changed.
Wait, so you got fired, and then 2 weeks later, you opened up a business?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I literally just went from one to the other. Yeah, that's why I'm telling you, like, with the way I started, the equipment I had, I didn't even have time to order equipment. Like, I just had to grab what I could and go with it.
This goes back to when I cut you off about the equipment. Now we're back to the equipment. But
that's what I was saying before. Like, it is not the equipment that makes you a good coach. It is who you are that makes you a good coach.
Yeah.
It is the impact you have on people's lives that have. Man, I had one client refer 45 people to me. I used to dub her my marketing manager. She just referred. 45 new clients she referred me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Because of how much she believed in what we did. You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
Yeah, like I'm telling you, when I mean blessed, like
that's
I can't explain to you how blessed I am. And the thing is, I truly believe you'll have people in your life for a certain period of time. That's fine. But some people go, some people come, some people stay. It's okay. Just keep doing you.
Yeah.
You will know who your
keep doing you, your people will come.
Exactly. So you are the sum of the 5 people you hang out with the most, right? Or you surround yourself with the most. If you surround yourself with people that don't aspire to do good in their lives, you're not going to move forward. And if you want to move forward, they're going to be the first people that try to bring you down. And unfortunately, some of the closest people that can be to us, right? It can be some people that are related to us, right? There can be some people that we think are our good friends, but really, when we start to succeed and our light starts to shine, they just don't like it. And they just do whatever they can or say whatever they can to bring it down. I've had that experience many times. That's why when somebody succeeds in my gym or somebody in my life or in my circle or in my family succeeds, you best believe I'm the first one in that line giving them a high five.
100%.
Because I know what it feels like to not have that. But I also know what it feels like to have people cheer for you. It's the nicest feeling. It motivates you to go to the next level.
100%.
So when I see guys that come in, like I train a guy, he makes $40 million on his building company. You know what I said to him?
Yeah.
I go, fuck, that's so good. I'm so proud of you, bro. He looked at me, it's like puzzled. Because most people look at me and go, like, throw a comment about, oh, give me some of that money. I go, nah, man. I go, that's hard work, man. I go, you should be proud of yourself.
Yeah.
He goes, this is why I like you. And this guy doesn't flaunt his money. He doesn't talk about money. He talks about it to me because he knows that there's no judgment and I don't make assumptions, right? When he said it, he was like, yeah, man. He goes, my company will turn over $40 million a year. And it was just, I was looking at him like, that's awesome, man. Like, well done. I meant it.
And that's genuine, yeah.
Yeah. And I thought to myself, and not one part of me was like, I wish I had that kind of money because I know the more money means more problems.
Yeah.
So, no, I don't wish for that kind of money because I know what the problems that can come from that kind of money.
And you've seen it.
I've witnessed it, right? I have nowhere near that amount of money and I've had problems and that I felt like I couldn't deal with. Imagine that kind of money. There's a lot you got to deal with, right? Yeah. He's got 40 or 50 staff members. Like he's got a big team. Plus then he's got all the other guys on his side. So he's got to deal with. Yeah. It's nonstop for him. But when he said it to me, I just said to myself, he deserves it because he's working really hard for it. And that's as far as it went for me. Good job. Let's get back to your lunges,
Your lunges, keep going.
What's one bit of advice you would have given to your younger self, knowing that you were going to go down this rabbit hole of running your own business?
Don't be scared. Just don't be scared. I should have started my business maybe 2 years before. I should have started at 20. I was too scared though. I didn't think I knew enough. We're never going to know enough. That's the beautiful thing about learning, right? The more you learn, the more you realize how much you don't know, right?
Yeah.
The more opportunities that you have in your life, the more you realize how blessed you are.
Yeah.
Right? The more great things you see, the more you understand how better you've become or that you can become, right? The more sad things you see, the more you realize how grateful you need to be in your life. So for me, it's just don't be scared. Just go for it.
Don't be scared.
And failure is a mindset. It's not a fact. And that's one thing I tell myself every day. Failure is a mindset. It is not a fact, right? I almost had to claim bankruptcy. I could have looked at that as if it was failure, right? I realized that failure is just a mindset. And that was my biggest lesson about failure. Failure is what you determine it to be for you. And I realized, I said to myself, this isn't going to be the end of me. I can get through this. It's going to be hard, but I can get through this as long as I have a plan and I stick to that plan. And so for me, if I was to tell myself something 10 years ago or when I first started my business, don't be scared. You got it. Yeah.
I like that. And through business, I feel like you go through a bit of a lonely chapter. And what I mean by that is periods of time where people start leaving you. You had it a few times happen with your friends and stuff like that. What would you teach someone that might be getting into business for the first time about what that learning chapter is and how they can get through it?
Well, I look at starting your own business as elevating yourself.
Yeah.
Right. So when you want to elevate yourself, there is going to be some people in your life that just aren't there, and that's okay. Right. The key to happiness is having zero expectations.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a huge element. When you expect things of other people, what are you left with? And they don't meet those expectations, you're left with disappointment.
Yeah.
Right? Having zero expectations is a huge key to happiness. Right? My family get angry at other family members about certain things that they thought they should have done. And they go, you know what I mean? I said, no, I don't. They go, what do you mean? I said, I didn't expect that from them. That's why I'm not upset with them. I know myself, right? I know what I do. I know the expectations I have of myself.
But
Anybody that wants to start their own business, it is not a fun experience by any means, because you're essentially opening up the door to 45,000 problems that you are still trying to work out how to figure out.
Yeah.
Right. But it is the most rewarding experience at the same time. Right. I always have this analogy. It's running your own business is like having an anxiety attack with a plan to get through the anxiety in front of you. Right? It's literally that.
The perfect.
Yeah, that's that. And I like, we laugh about it because it's like far out. It's so accurate,
so
right?
true, it actually is.
And it's, or it's a combination of crying and smiling in the space of 10 seconds. Yeah.
I like that one as well.
So
It's
for
like
me,
a stock chart.
it is. So I always tell people, don't think that running your own business means that you're going to be cashed. You can definitely get cashed, but there's going to be hurdles along the way.
Yeah.
And it's honestly, if you're open to learning more about yourself than anything else, you're going to run a good business and you're going to have a successful business. If you're closed off from taking responsibility and everybody else is the problem, you're not going to have a successful business, because everything falls on you.
Yeah.
Right? If you're open to taking criticism, learning from that and building on that, which I did a lot of my career, I still do, you're going to open up the doors to being able to grow and get better. Right? I had a client that told me there was a couple of things that she didn't like. You know what I literally did the next day? Pulled my team in. Hey guys, this is some feedback. I want to bring everybody in. I'm not pointing fingers at anybody, but this is feedback that all of us are culprit of.
Yeah.
We need to fix it. And we go, how do we fix it? Right? Now that client's like a raving fan of ours. I've referred 5 people to us. Right? All because you take that and you don't get angry at that. You don't go, no, she's just being a princess. No, there's something to learn from that.
Yeah.
Even if maybe the communication to her about what your service entails wasn't clear. That could be a learning experience then and there, because you could take that and put it on to the next client. There's all these different things. So, I think any business owner, don't think that it's just going to be all sunshine and rainbows. You're doing your job because you're passionate about it, but take the emotion out and just really focus on what you're there to do. That's make money.
Yeah.
Right? Your business is your vehicle to helping you live the life you want to live. That's what it needs to be. So as soon as you take the emotion out, you just get the objective is get the shit done.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
If Platinum Training Academy wasn't a thing, what do you think you would be doing?
I say this to people and they laugh, but I would definitely delve down into the realm of being a musician. I love music.
Yeah?
That's my other thing I like doing on my off time. Yeah.
Do you play instruments? Or?
I play a lot of Lebanese stuff. So I play like the Lebanese drums and whatnot. But there are other...
what's it called? A dabke?
No, that's a kind of dance, but we play the tabal.
Yeah.
It's the big drum that you see at weddings.
Yeah.
But there are a few other instruments I play as a part of a band.
No way.
I've always liked the keyboard. I respect the keyboard and the piano.
Yeah.
And the skills for that. So I like music. I always have. As a kid, I was always doing something with music. My dad was like, oh, this house is so loud. But if I wasn't a PT, definitely would love to delve into
Are you still doing
being
it
a
now?
musician. Yeah, I still play music now. I enjoy it. Yeah, that's the thing I do to fill my cup.
Yeah.
It's my fun thing. Yeah. I'm not the best at it, but I love it. I just enjoy it.
It's
And
just
now my son
something
loves
on
it,
the
so I just play with him.
Oh, beautiful.
Going nuts on
He
the
just
drums.
claps. He
Your
claps.
wife would love it then.
I wait till she's out of the house.
Yeah. You do it when
music
she's
time.
Do you do it when she's waking up? Just play the drums just
Oh, you
before?
think I have a death wish?
So I thought I'd ask the question. Oh, bro, this has been a really good podcast. I've actually enjoyed it. We've gotten to know a lot about what 15 years of experience can actually do to someone. If someone was to find where you are and what you do, where is it that they can find you?
There's a couple of spots on social media, Instagram in particular. Just look up Platinum Training Academy. So Platinum_Training_Academy. That's our business. That's the gym. On my own personal Instagram is _Anthony Kassis, or one word. follow me, reach out, whatever. I'm always happy to have chats with people. I definitely enjoy talking about this kind of stuff.
Awesome, bro. I think a lot of people will take a lot away from what we spoke about. So it was definitely.
I hope so. I appreciate it. I'd always want to kind of be able to help somebody with something.
Yeah. That's the PT in you. Sorry, the coach in you.
Yeah. Look,
Personal trainer.
What'd you call me?
I'm flying across the table. No, bro.
I've enjoyed it. You guys got a great setup. Thank you very much, man.
Thank you so much, bro.
Thank you guys for listening to this week's episode of the Evolv Podcast.
Brendan and I have loved having you throughout this whole podcast. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. And if friends are interested, share it around.
Yeah, make sure you share and tag us on your Instagram posts, and I'll see you soon.
See you guys. Little boogie to finish.